What's up guys, Zinigami here, and let's go through 30 stamina Bridal Nami. Oh Nami, you're looking so beautiful today. The condition for Nami on the 15 and 30 stamina version is that you can only bring knowledge and slasher type characters. So knowledge and slasher type, not int, knowledge. We will be using a Double Doffy slasher team with level 1 anti-lock is the one that we're looking for. That's level 1 lock right here because Lola will hit us with locking for 2 turns when she dies. Lola will also cut our health in half, but the extra health we get from Double Doffy will help take some hits by Nami. And there's 3 different versions of Nami's boss stage, and we'll go over that as we go along. Anyways, we have a lot of time to stall when we have Double Doffy team. We do have a nice and hefty 74k hit points. And basically, all the way until the end of Lola, it doesn't matter what our health gets to because we are going to lose half our health right away anyways, because Lola is going to cut our current health by half. So it's not super important that I don't take any hits here. But I don't need to stall that much, so I might as well avoid whatever hits we can. The secret stage for Bridal Nami that we're on right now is the Raccoon Brothers, the Risky Brothers. The Risky Brothers are it's a dex stage. They actually has a decent chunk of hit points, but the big thing is that the Risky Brothers will lock one of your characters for 2 turns, and they will silence your captain for 2 turns. And of course, if they do that to me, I will lose half my hit points right away. But it is a secret stage. That does mean they are guaranteed drop. They are. They also hit for. Where did I write it down? They hit for 2.8k when they attack. So chances are you will have to eat an attack or 2 from them, because they do have a nice number of hit points, but since they silence your captain for 2 turns, it's kind of hard to kill them in that 1 turn. Even though they're not that tanky, it's just a lot of health to get through in 1 turn. We'll take a couple hits to the face of the turtle. The turtle has 10 hit points. There, every once in a while you'll see the green marine dude. Remember that, the red marine dude. Remember that the red marine dude, if you leave him at under 20% health, he will blind you for 5 turns. That's just something that the red marine dude does in general. And every time you see him, you can more or less assume that if you get him to under 20% health, he will blind you. That's just what he does. We're going to just kill people slowly. Now, one of the big things on this island is that your int characters are going to get locked for 2 turns, and your non-int or your int/psi characters will get locked for 2 turns, and your non-int or psi characters will get their abilities silenced for 5 turns. Now, the ability silence is something newish. You don't see it that often. Also, these guys do lock your the type that they're weak against, as usual. The ability silence is something on the newer side of things. We haven't seen it that often. In fact, we've only seen it on, as far as I can think of, the only time we've seen it so far is on Hina's Coliseum. Yeah, Hina's Coliseum stage. Besides that, it hasn't been really around before. And next stage should be Lola. Yep, Lola. Lola, Lola, Lola. Hello, Lola, Lola. Now, since Lola does cut our health by half, we can take a couple hits here, although we don't really want to. And the different versions of Nami, there's 3 different versions of Nami. We'll go over it before we get there, because the version of Nami that we get actually changes which specials we want to do, although we can't tell at the moment. Nami all by herself and Nami with Lola will if you get either Nami all by herself or Nami with Lola, Nami will silence the abilities of your non-int and psi characters. For example, in my team right here, both my Doffys, my Mihawk, and my Arlong will get their abilities silenced, which means they can still attack. They still have their captain abilities available. I just can't use the drag special ability for them. But the version of Nami with Sanji and Absalom, which is a 3rd version of Nami with Sanji and Absalom actually does not silence your Dex character's abilities. But Nami with Sanji and Absalom actually are. It's probably the harder one to do if you but you do have your abilities available to you. So right now I'm going to, and if you have Nami with Lola, she actually prevents debuffs for 7 turns. But for our purposes right now, since we are using a Double Doffy team, I have plenty of hit points. So we're going to chunk away at Lola. Lola has 262,000 hit points. And she attacks every other turn for about 5,300 damage. But she doesn't actually do anything else bad while you're actually fighting her. That 5,300 damage, she just doesn't matter if she's at 20%, 50%, whatever, she's just going to hit you for 5,300. And whenever you've got a ton of hit points, you can tank those hits to the face, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take those hits, and there's no point in me healing because I am using a slasher team. I could heal for a whole maybe 60 hit points. And then when she dies, that's when the fun things are going to happen. Because her death will mean that we're going to lose our, or we're going to get our characters silenced. So she dies, she'll cut our current hit points by half. So I'm going to lose 33k, sorry. And then she silences my int character for 2 turns. Since it's the end of the turn, you will get your lock reduced by 1. So if you without any anti-lock orbs, you are going to have a 1-turn lock on Nami's turn here. And here you go, it's Nami all by herself. That means she locks the specials of our non-int and side characters for 5 turns. Now the thing about Nami, it's a little funky how she hits. Nami actually does damage to you, or she attacks based on how much health she has left. So if you pay attention to Nami's health, I don't know the exact amounts, and I'm sure we'll have the numbers for the exact amounts later. But so for what I figured, her initial attack, if she's more or less above that 90%, she hits for about 3.6k. 3.6k health. Below 80%, she attacks for about between 80% or right around the, below the 40%, below the 50%, she attacks for about 6k. Between 50 and 20%, she attacks for 8k, and between 20% and or below 20%, she attacks for 10k. So it's 10k here, 8k, 6k, 4k, or 3.6k. So depending on how much health left, that's how hard she will hit you. And we're just gonna hit her. Boom, boom. And since we are using a Double Doffy team, I have plenty of health to actually stall out that 5-turn anti-ability silence. So she's still above the threshold for her to hit harder. So next turn she will hit a little harder. Here we go. Boop. 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 Our tiny bits of hit point. Tiny bits of damage to her. There we go. It's above the, I guess it's 75% health is the first cutout. That's her increased damage, 4,000 damage. So it's 4,000 damage to about here. 50% means 6,000 damage. Then it's 8,000 damage, then 10,000 damage. So it just slowly increases. It doesn't matter how much damage you do in one turn. It's just how much health she has left. That's how hard she hits. Boom. 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 And I'm going to save my... I'm going to use my Das Bones next turn. And then use my Mr. 3 after that, and I will have enough time to... she's below 50%, so she's hitting for 6k. Das Bones will increase my damage, but more importantly, reduce damage I take for 2 turns. Which means I can take 2 more hits, and I'll be able to use my Doffys and my Mihawks. Boo! Boo! Hello, Nami. Now, this Double Doffy team is one of the easier ones just because of how much health you have. You can take all those Nami hits. It's much, much harder if you're using a team that cannot take as many hits from Nami as if you, depending on, just because there's so many different possibilities for what Nami does, you can get in a little bit of a tricky position. We'll get rid of Nami right here. You can get in a bit of a tricky position, especially if you expected her to silence your abilities, to use all your abilities on Lola, and then you find out you have Sanji and Absalom to take care of. And a regular team, Sanji and Absalom do hit for... Sanji and Absalom hit for about 6.5k each, and they have a 2-turn cooldown. So you really have to get rid of them quickly. And so if you use all your specials, you're going to be a lot of trouble. Let's go over the other versions right now. So that was Nami by herself. Nami by herself. We saw how hard she hits. She hits, and this is all versions of Nami attack you for the same amount, varying on how much health they have left. And Nami has about 500k hit points. When Nami has friends, for example, Nami with Absalom and Sanji, she has about 500k hit points. Absalom and Sanji, Absalom will preemptively blind you for 3 turns, and there's no Nami silence, no Nami ability silence. So you can use all your abilities. You can use Mihawk, so you can use Doffy, so you can use whatever right off the bat if you have Nami, Absalom, and Sanji. And then Nami and Lola is probably the most difficult one, as you have Nami silencing your special abilities, and you have Lola preventing debuffs. So you can't stall Nami and Lola, and you can't use your specials on Nami and Lola. So Nami and Lola are probably the hardest of the 3 different boss versions that can come out. Anyways, guys, that is a quick rundown of the island using a Double Doffy team with all free-to-play characters. My name's Zenigami. Good luck farming Bridal Nami, and y'all stay beautiful. So it actually seems, in between the time that I recorded the first walkthrough intro using the Double Doffy team and the second walkthrough video using the Double Rayleigh team, they actually changed the way that Lola works. And this is something that we saw getting reported in chat. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a permanent change or if it's just like a bug fix, but Lola actually no longer has your health and locks your INT characters whenever she dies. Boris, like I was checking other streamers like Boris and stuff and asking the other viewers in chat, there was just Lola just stopped doing it. There was a time when if you tried to run the island for about 5 minutes, it would give you an error, but then after that the error would go away. I think they hotfixed it to make it a little bit easier. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a permanent change or not sure if it's a temporary change, but until then I'm just gonna keep, or for now I'm just gonna keep both videos so you can see one run with Double Doffy with getting your health cut in half, and one run where your health doesn't cut in half. But if she just doesn't cut your health anymore, then teams like Double Doffy and Double Vista are gonna be super easy for this island. Anyways, let's go over what the characters actually do, because I'm sure a lot of you guys don't actually know what they do. Lola's probably the sexiest woman in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Her max attack goes up to about 1,000. We don't know exactly what her attack is going to be. Her captain ability is worthless as usual, and her special gives you a 1-turn orb boost, 1.5 times orb boost. That's exactly the same as Kobe and Kaku, but only for 1 turn. And she also reduces the defense of all enemies by a large amount. So that's pretty useful. The Risky Brothers, those 2 little squirrel guys, that's the secret stage. Their stats are terrible stats. And their special changes their orb to Dex and allows you to swap your orbs once. Looks like this character is just gonna be something fun to have, but not actually really good. Just fun little squirrel dudes. And then we have Nami herself, beautiful Sai Nami. Nami's attack value goes up to only goes up to about 420 or so, or it actually doesn't go up very high at all. And her captain ability, more or less useless once again, boosts attack and recovery by 1.5 and heals a small amount at the end of each turn. And her special deals 15 times her attack and side damage to one character, and boosts attack against enemies with reduced defense by 1.3 for 3 turns. So this is an ability kind of like Saudi-chan, or more or less exactly like Saudi-chan, where it boosts your damage against characters with reduced defense. So you want to combo her with characters that obviously reduce defense, kind of like Lola here. Anyways, she's not that great of a character. It's more useful for those missions where you're trying to do lots of damage in 1 turn. Very nice for that. So you can get really stack those damage boosts, because the boost that Nami gives you actually does stack with a type boost like Robin. Yeah, just like Robin. So INT Robin and this Wedding Nami and an orb booster like Doflamingo all stack together, so you get double damage from Doffy, double damage from Robin, and then 30% extra damage from Nami. Makes for a really, really large burst, especially if you use like double Gear 3 or Rayleigh and stuff like that. So this kind of meh. The more important things are Whitey Bay, Mirage Temple and Nami, and CP9 Kaku. That's the quick story mode Kaku books. You also have like the Del Calvin brother books, but the more important ones are Whitey Bay. Whitey Bay is a real book that we're going to be looking at anyways, guys. I've been Zinigami. Good luck, and who knows if the change that they made to Lola dying is going to be permanent. I've been Zinigami. Y'all stay beautiful.